Hi guys, I'm Atieno Lang. For those who don't know me, welcome to my channel. And today I wanted us to do some book, not really review, but more of just a little bit of mentioning. These are books that I read when I was like a really young girl, and I passed it on to my girls. And I feel like it's something I can share with all of you. For those who love to read and for those who have children, maybe you want to impact them on books that can help them and they can laugh. I just wanted to go through it quickly. Some I can't remember very well, but I recommended them to my daughters, and they've been reading it, and they surprised me. They came with some back home. Some actually I gave them, so some they looked for by themselves in the library, and then I'll tell you a story about this time when I was going to town and my encounter with the driver. That's another one. Anyway, so let's start with what made me start to be a reader. Okay, they have cut the book. It's not in the best shape, but this is Enid Blyton, Mallory Towers. Mallory Towers is a book where we have these young girls who are going to a boarding school and their life in the boarding school. And you have all these characters. And by the way, I started schooling in a boarding school, Jack and Jill Kitale. This is from nursery. Then in between there, I had a break and I went to public school. But then again, I was taken back to boarding school. This was in Mukumu Girls Primary. But then at the class 7, first term, I was taken out to an international school. So anyway, the boarding life is usually another level of life for those who went to boarding school, you know. And when you read Mallory Towers by Enid Blyton, then you see a different life. And then they have like different seasons. They have spring, and they're like escaping at night to go have a swim during summertime. They have these parties with the jam tots, and they mention all this food and what have you. So when I picked this book, I wasn't much of a reader, by the way. But when I picked this, I think I was in year 8, and I love the book so much. There's a friend of mine who was from London, I think, and she had like a pack of the books, and oh my god, it was so wonderful. I asked her and she gave me just like the entire thing. She was really nice. I can't remember her name, but God bless her so much. And that is how I started to like really read. This is why I know that you can impact your child to start reading at any age. If they didn't start early, like being interested in reading books earlier, then they can pick up from any form. So Enid Blyton Mallory Towers is wonderful. Anybody will enjoy it. If you have time, even if you're an adult, try it out. Trust me, you'll not regret it. Oh, I love a character of Gwendoline Mary. She was very snobbish. Her mom was also stuck up like her. Only the dad was the reasoning voice in her life. But being in a boarding school really shaped her up. So that's one thing I love about boarding school. They really do shape you up in terms of character, in terms of how you're going to relate to other people in the world. The world is not just a place where you're going to be called a king or a queen and be treated the way other people treat you nicely in your home. You're going to meet different people and you're going to work yourself out of all this. Uh, okay, here it is, Sweet Valley High. Oh, my daughter came with this, and I remember the days of Nancy Drew, Sweet Valley High. I never read Famous Five. I started it, but it had so much investigation. I'm not much of an investigation person. So anyway, Sweet Valley High is normally about twins. The twin family with their brother, we call them Wakefields. I think we have Elizabeth, Jessica, and Stephen, their brother. And this one is The Promise. So I have started reading it. I haven't finished. For some reason, I'm not getting time. I'm squeezing everything in right now. I hope I get to a place where I have this space where I can read. Because mostly when I get my space, I do my reading for my Bible. At this particular time, I want to meditate. When you have children and you're trying to put things in place, you want to have that secret place with the Lord, yeah? So, but anyway, Sweet Valley High, they come in lots of books. Oh my God, I wish I had goosebumps to show you. That's another book I loved as a young girl. Um, So anyway, Sweet Valley High, this is a recommendation. Your girls will love it. I don't know about the boys with the Sweet Valley High, but the girls, I know they will love it very much. But then again, if your son has an open mind, then they can read any book, right? Well, my son doesn't read much, really, so I don't know what to say about that. With this one, I have never read it. It's called the Canterville, what? Canterville Ghosts and Other Stories. My daughter Lorraine recommended this, so I'm going to call her to just give you a review of it. Lorraine, just come and give a small review of it, please. She was like, this is something I must recommend to other girls or other, boys and girls to read, Yeah, so just talk it through, please.
Okay, the Canterville Ghost is about a man who murdered his wife long time ago. Then he died. Actually, the brother to the wife knew that he killed the sister, so he went and tortured the person till he died, and his soul didn't rest in peace. So there's this family called the Otis family that moved inside the house, knowing that it was not haunted. But the owner of the house told them first, before they enter, they should know that the house is haunted, and they're just haunted. So they're just like, energy is fine, we'll manage. So they went in, they got straight to haunt them, but it didn't work. So they got asked for the girl who was in that family. I don't know her name. I don't know if it was Jenny or what. Nimesahau. But alimwambia saidie nini. So there's a way that he should rest in peace, someone, and she should help him somehow. So
to get his soul to rest.
Yeah, to come here. So the girl didn't make her grave. Then she traveled into the dimension of the dead people. Yeah, kuongea na the superior. The superior hakusema ni nani hapa. And akamsaidia, and the ghost proceeded with peace. Akampatia msichana jewelries, very nice jewelries that are very expensive, as a gift.
So it's a story worth reading, yeah?
And other stories also.
Oh, so there are many inside. Oh, so look at it the way it looks. Maybe if you're going to look for it. It's called the Ghost, what?
Canterville Ghost.
Yeah, the Canterville Ghost. So, hey, you guys, you can recommend this also to yourself if you're a reader. Or thanks, Lorraine.
Welcome.
Okay, now this is a story I read, and it stuck to my mind. It really stuck on my mind. It's called Rock Me. Okay, hi guys, back again. Rock Me Gently. Don't worry, my daughter is sweeping. If you hear the noises behind, just don't worry about it. Rock Me Gently is a story about Judith Kelly. The writer is actually Judith Kelly. I read this. I love smelling books. I don't know if someone does this also. I love the smell, especially the old book. This is a story I read a long time, and I found the book again at my friend's. I asked her for it. For some reason, I still believe this is my book. But I brought it for my daughter to read, and she has started, and she was like, oh my God, this book is amazing. It is based on a true story about Judith Kelly. The writer is Judith Kelly, and the story is about Judith Kelly. The time when the father passed on, and I think when the mom wanted to find herself, took her to these schools, this orphanage. And many students in that orphanage were actually not orphans. But the orphanage turned out to be a place where kids were being tormented. They were abused sexually, physically, emotionally. They were not given food. It was trauma. And then she found herself having this girl who was her friend, who was like that place of refuge, and she gets to lose her tragically. And she tried, when you go through such kind of an experience as a child, you try to escape it, to find a way to escape, but she found herself going back after meeting an old schoolmate to revisit, and that's when they even remember took their picture that they took and all that. It's called Rock Me Gently by Judith Kelly, a memoir of a convent childhood. Simple yet shocking, sad and disturbing. It's unexpectedly uplifting too. I wish you guys could find time and read this book. Just see the way it looks. I don't know if you can find it online. if you can find it online, I would recommend you read. Nice book. Let me just give you a small preview of it. In 1950s, shortly after her father's death, Judith Kelly was left in the care of nuns at a Catholic orphanage while her mother searched for a place for them to live. She was 8 years old, but far from being cared for. Judith found herself in a savage and terrifying institution where physically, emotionally, and sexually abuse were the daily norm, and the children's lives were reduced to stark survival. As the months became years and no word came from her mother, she sought comfort from the girls around her, especially the bright angel voiced Frances. When a tragic accident robbed Judith of her dearest friend, the memories were too traumatic. To confront it was not until years later, on a kibbutz, I think this is called kibbutz in Israel, that a friendship with an elderly Holocaust survivor gave Judith the strength to revisit her past and the orphanage of her broken childhood. So this is a really nice book, Rock Me Gently by Judith Kelly. If you can find it, to read it, you will not regret reading this book. If you share it with your daughters, with your sons, with anyone you know who loves to read, basically. You know, I have lots of daughters. I have one son, so I think that's why it's easy for me. And my son doesn't read either. He draws and dance and and design. So you see. Anyway, this I did for my literature. Oh my God, this is Pride and Prejudice by Jane Eyre. Oh, this is beautiful. 5 ladies in a time where women were supposed to be about marriage, keeping quiet. Basically, I think during the old times, or some places still, actually, because I do lots of watching, I do watch lots of documentaries. I see this still in Iran, Saudi Arabia. Women are not expected to speak in public, don't look people in the eye. You're not supposed to have an opinion. Why are you having an opinion? You're a woman, you see. So Jane Eyre, Pride and Prejudice. Jane Eyre is the writer. Pride and Prejudice is the book. Uh, this is that particular time. But then these are 5 girls in a family. But one of them dares to speak her mind. One of them dares to dream and wants to walk her dream. One of them dares to question, you know, the whole system. And it's a beautiful book. I did it for literature. I spoke a lot about it to my girls and my daughter, who is going to do Form 4 late this year, decided to get it, and she will be reading it. And this is a beautiful book, and I love the character, her mom. This is Mrs. Bennet. Mrs. Bennet always had a way of wanting people to do what she wanted. Reminds me a bit of my mom. And whenever she was being defeated in an argument, she'd always talk about her back. Oh my God, my back, you know. And the husband would say, yes, your poor back. You've always had it, but yet you're real strong. So they have like really great characters in this book. It's a book I really recommend for you to read, Pride and Prejudice. And I wish I had Jane Eyre. Jane Eyre is another book on another level. I also did that for literature. I was a literature student. Hello, literature student. Yeah. So anyway, I hope you guys don't forget the books I've recommended today. We have Rock Me Gently by Judith Kelly, Pride and Prejudice by Jane Eyre. Then we have the Canterville Ghost, recommended by my daughter, and other stories. We have Sweet Valley High for the teens, for the girls, and for me here. I still love reading this, as I love watching cartoons. And then we have Mallory Towers by Enid Blyton. We have also St. Clair's by Enid Blyton. You need to look up on that one too. So anyway, I wanted to tell you about this time when I went to town. I was vlogging. My date was that time of the month. You know me. When that time of the month reached, it is sickness, everything, pain, you know. But then I went earlier so that I can buy my stuff and what have you. But on my way back, I entered on my mat. You know, bus, when you're still not driving your car, you go on a mat. Mat is a matatu. This is a means of transportation, public means of transportation, take you from point A to point B. And I'm actually breaking this down because when I visited Uganda, they call that taxi. And then they call taxi, what we call taxi, they call private taxi. So we call it matatu. And in short, we say mat. So anyway, we reach a particular point and everybody's alighting. So I'm remaining with the doorman and the driver. I'm sitting on my place. I'm having music in my ear. I was listening to gospel. This season I've been into Judy Kay. So I'm listening to Judy Kay. And the driver tells, I think, the doorman they want to go back to town because it's almost rush hour, you know. Okay, so we reached this point and people have alighted the car. And so they asked me to, they want to change me to a different car. Because now they're going for rush hour, maybe to make the best money of their lives and all that. Okay, so I step out. The car they wanted me to get into turned in front, so they can't. So this driver tells the doorman, Makanga or Manamba, as other people call them, in my native language. They didn't think I know my native language. Clearly, he didn't think I knew it. And he tells him, give her 10 shillings and let us go away. And I answer him back in my native language, and I tell him, do not give me 10 shillings because you want to put me on a motorbike, peng, we call it peng here. Call the peng man, give him that 10 shillings, and if he accepts it, let him take me. Because we are almost reaching actually at the stop. So the doorman tells him, no, let us just reach her, sorry, at her stage. And he asks me to get in. So I'm getting in back into the car. And as they're turning back the car, the driver starts getting vulgar with me. I don't know what I did wrong. So I'm quiet, listening to him. And the doorman tells him, in my language, Omera, where Yanyuriki customer, stop hallowing abuses at the customer. So he keeps on continuing this. And I told the doorman at some point, no, it's okay. Me and my fellow woman here, we're going to level together. And he's not a woman, by the way. It's a he. But now I'm into my mood. Yes, Atieno, the champion of Wari, the village champion. Oh, he didn't know. Hey, he didn't know. He didn't know. Anyway, so he starts. And he's there and he's telling me and he's abusing me. Yes, he's abusing me. Why? Because I told him, you take your 10 bob and give the pang. Give the motorbike man to take me. That is the reason. My friend, I put on the armor of village warrior. I cannot go into it in details. It was vulgar. Trust me. I put him in his place. Who is me? Putting him in his place. So anyway, at some point, he takes a mirror and he puts it like this to see me well. I think he had not seen me well. That time I'd step out of the car. He had not seen me well. Now he's checking me well, the label. Yeah. So he sees me. Then he says, you have bleached. I'm like, because your mother told you people who bleach looks like. My friend, Apaka, if your wife at home is looking like that black pot and you are happy, be contented with it, my friend. Be contented with it. So then, I don't know what happens, but in between we still exchange words. He feels it hard, eh? So he goes and he turns the car back again to threaten me. Abi, threatening me. Atieno, champion of Wuri, the village champion, threatening me. And there I am sitting. And then he's looking from behind. He's checking me like this. He can't turn well. Then it's like, you don't know. I'm like, you think I'm those women whom their mind are stuck. My friend, let's go back. You have turned very well, thank you. Back to town, let us go. And put my money here. I get another car back home. So at this point, the doorman is so frustrated with him. He's like, what is your problem, my friend? Ebu, let us take her to her stop. We are almost there. And I'm like, hey, you don't know me, oh. You don't come for Atieno unless she calls for you. You don't know, I beg. You don't know. He didn't know. Anyway, so at last he brings me to my stop, but at that point my adrenaline is up here, my friends, up here. There is no cooling me down. He started and I am finishing. You see, this is the problem when you're dealing with champion of worry. This is the problem. We don't start it from here. We start from here, then we bring it down here. You see? Anyway, so I lied, but I am still giving him a warning, my friend. I am giving him fire, warning. So he took me like a bit in front. So you have to go a bit to get my means. No, because I have to go on a motorbike now to reach home. Now everybody's watching because I am speaking the African way. I am telling it like it is and giving him a warning of his life. And everybody's like, I also teach, So I've been doing teaching like at less privileged children. So I have had many children in my class, and some of them now are big. They're even doing those peng there, and some are doing their business, of course. That is a local market. So they're like, Mwalimu, who is chokozering you? Like, who is making
you?
Yeah, teasing you, making you unhappy. And I'm sending them to give him warning. So this young man comes and is like, let me take you, because he even knows. They even know where I'm coming to. Our home is a school. So I enter on that motorbike. So as we come, he asked me and I start narrating what happened. So this young man laughed. Well, if you see me in person, let me tell you the story well. Here I cannot be vulgar. My youngest daughter is taking this video. Plus, it's a YouTube channel. You meet me, my friend. Now, I tell him. He laughs. So when we're almost reaching home, he tells me, Madam, you did a very good thing. These people are used to doing this. This time round, you put them in their place. You put him in his place. He will not do that again. They do this to people all the time. All the time. And I'm like, yes, I beg. Atieno, the savior of the village. Saving people. Who, me? Who is like me now? Saving people like this. Anyway, so this is about time now. I'm in prayers now to buy my own car. Be in prayers with me. So that now I have a different story. I don't have to talk about this rude man who is looking for me. I beg, do not look for someone who is quiet. It is like throwing stones on a lying dog. You don't know this dog. Don't see a lion rained on and think it's a cat. It's not a cat, my friend. It is a lion. You don't come for me. Me, I'm very quiet. I mind my own business. I love minding my own business. But when you come for me, I go put you in your place, my friend, like this. Wahala. Go put you in your place. Anyway, thank you so much for being with me. And please subscribe if you haven't subscribed. And let's journey together. And kids are back home on a holiday. I'm so happy to see them. But I'm leaving. I'm going to Nairobi. I'm going to see my father's not feeling well. And to look for some contracts and hopefully get a job and move to Nairobi. So pray for me. See you again next time. I remember last time I saw this. This looks like Elliot. Still goes for 100 bob. Everything apart from chili.